Stadium, and that's only had one first-class game, the New South Wales Western Australia game, and that was interesting, the fact that no team scored above really 260, 270. There was, I think New South Wales got 261 or 263 in their first innings, so that might be a pitch that, for the first couple of days might actually suit the fast bowlers a bit more. This ball's cut uppishly between second and third slip for 4. Got enough on it and kept it away from the fielders. Wasn't convincing, but Rahul White-Mind, he picks up 4 more to go into the 30s. But in years gone by, where Australia have had the likes of Lee and McGrath and Gillespie and those kind of players, India probably haven't had the same kind of attack. Maybe the ledger's a little bit even now when if they do play on a pitch that does maybe give a bit of assistance.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge for India is that we've seen today. I mean, today's a good example. Yes, Bumrah came back and wrapped up the final wicket, but can they take 20 wickets on such placid sort of pitch? I mean, does that bowling lineup, it's much hyped about. Mohammad Shami, Ishant Sharma, on his fourth tour. Umesh Yadav has pace. And we've got Bhuvaneshwar Kumar who can swing the ball at 2, but to take 20 wickets, and don't forget Ravi Ashwin adds to this as well, but they need to be able to take 20 wickets, and we saw, I mean, this is a CA 11, I mean, no disrespect to some of the players, I mean, Harry Nilsson looks a terrific player, but they batted 140 odd overs, so, I mean, that's probably a concern for India going into the Test match, that here they were not able to bowl out the CA 11 guys. How are they going to sort of manifest a plan to take 20 wickets? Yes, no David Warner, yes, no Steve Smith, but I mean, there's still a decent Australian batting lineup. I mean, he's Usman Khawaja. We know if you look at some of the guys' records at home.
This ball is tucked onto the onside end of that gap. In front of square leg for a single. Well, you look at Aaron Finch and Marcus Harris, they both scored plenty of runs in Victoria, and Harris did the damage in the UAE and would love to score runs back here. Sean Marsh, I know he gets a lot of criticism, but he has scored a lot of runs at home for Australia. He'll know that Perth wicket on the back of his hand.
And a lower order as well for Australia, don't forget. I mean, people forget, but Tim Paine's averaging 40 odds in Test cricket ever since he returned. You've got Pat Cummins, who's such an accomplished sort of lower order batsman at 8, Mitchell Starc at 9, and we just saw today, and it seems to happen with India a lot. It happened in England where they seem to get rid of the first 5 or 6 wickets for say 200 odd, and then the last 4 wickets seem to add 200 or 250 odd, and so that's going to be the big challenge for India on how they are able to wrap up the tail. We saw Jasprit Bumrah bowling today, and bowling that Yorker that finished off the tail. I think he's going to be very, very important as we look towards that Test match, because he can rattle the tail, and he's got just that X factor because his action, just the way he bowls, it's just so hard to pick up the ball sometimes, and if you haven't played him enough. So that's going to be the big test for India, I think, to take 20 wickets on such kind of pitches.
Yep, and talking of wickets, Cricket Australia 11 would love some, and Fallons is going to continue, but they've toiled but haven't been able to get a breakthrough. Just looking at the batting card here, Rahul 32 unbeaten and Murali Vijay 25. And Fallons in 5th over is going over the wicket now, the leg spinner.
Reverted back to plan A, over the wicket, and that can go stumps a little bit from over the wicket.
Fallons throws this one up and it's tucked onto the onside, and they will scurry through for another single. So this has to be confidence boosting for the Indians, not only this pair at the middle, but also Ravi Shastri, their head coach, and the rest of the players. Virat Kohli, the captain. Both players have been in excess of 50 deliveries. Rahul is on strike, has been in for 58 balls, and Vijay 52. Not without a few scares here and there, but they've looked confident and assured in some of their shots as well. Sometimes you need to ride your luck as a batsman when you're not hitting your rhythm. This all thrown up, and he lofts this one down the ground. Well, attempts to go down the ground. It skews off the outside edge and bobbles just outside that inner circle we have here at the SCG that was used for the T20s, and he's lucky to get away with that.
Yeah, he certainly is, KL Rahul. He's just of concern that's crept into his game. He looks so good, and then there's a shot out of anger that he has to play.
Pagano got turned inside. Out with that one, didn't he? He didn't really know what to do with it. Was lucky to get away with it. And just the 2 balls left in this. Daniel Fallon's over the score on 60. Deficit still 126, but you feel this game petering out to a draw, and merely just practice for both these sides. In particular, India is just forward and it squirts off the inside edge. Vijay not playing with any great solidarity there as he pushed forward, played away from the body. Lucky not to inside edge that back onto his pads or onto the stumps.
Yeah, but that might have been the top spinner there. Just got the inside edge. It would have, it's a short leg in place. I'm sure it would have been a chance.
So last ball of the 19th over, sweeping around the corner, getting it very fine there was KL Rahul. There's a long chase out in the deep. Does well to keep it in, and they'll come back for 2. And that will be another 2 added to the total. So none for 63. Rahul is 35. Vijay moves himself along to 27. It looks like drinks are going to be
tea time, I think.
Tea. So yes. a smaller session this time.
We're on a roll, Jack.
3 hours in the first session, and then we get another session which is only half the distance, but that's okay. It's Vijay on 27 from 54. KL Rahul is 35 from 60, none for 63. So just talk us through some of these highlights. Gav, obviously India delighted to be back out batting, no doubt, after that tiresome effort with the ball.
Yeah, beautiful shots by Murali Vijay, leaning back and cutting, and Fallon's dropping short, and Vijay putting him out towards Cal corner. Lovely shot, a freebie, nice. KL Rahul did the same, but he decided to go up and over and into it. So about 100 odd Indian fans. So that is what India have, fans have been smiling about. India have moved on to none for 63. They trail CA 11 by 123. So Murali Vijay is 27 not out from 54 balls, and KL Rahul has moved to 35 of 60. So good outing for the Indian batsman.
Yep, so 19 overs gone for India, no wicket for 63. Just taking a quick look at the bowling card. Jackson Coleman 5 overs, none for 13. Aaron Summers has been tidy, none for 9. And then Luke Robbins and Dan Fallon's the first change bowlers, going for 4 and over, creating a few opportunities, but not enough to get a breakthrough here. So tea has been taken here on the 4th and final day with India none for 63, trailing by 123. We'll have a 20-minute interval. On this side of that, both Gav Joshi and Max Bryden will bring you through the next half an hour of play here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. This is Jack Clifton signing off. We'll see you in 20 minutes.
Between the two of them ballooned out to 179 for the 7th wicket, and included some brilliant late cuts from Nielsen until Hardy was caught behind. After a good bowling change brought in. It was the first ball of the day from that man, Ishant Sharma, and saw the back of Aaron Hardy, who continued his impressive match, posted 86. Nielsen then went on to record his ton. Sort of first class one to his name, and he showed his class out there today on the SCG. That is for certain. He'll be pleased with his work until he was undone for an even 100. The bowling of all people of Virat Kohli. We just showed you the celebration before, and I dare say these scenes are going to be shown right around the world. It's so good to see the Indian skipper having a good time, and sure, why not, after how long it took the team to break that 179-run partnership between Hardy and Ballance. Didn't end there, though, for India. Luke Robbins sent Ashwin for 6 over square leg. That was a great shot. And a couple of square drives as well. Dan Fallon's bowled well. 7 boundaries in his 43 until he dragged Ashwin on, becoming the off-spinner's second wicket. But it didn't end there again for India. The last wicket stands of Jackson Coleman and Luke Robbins batting promisingly. Coleman drives to the boundary, no problem for the big number 11. He looks quite assured. Found the fence twice in his stay of 36, 65 deliveries. Robbins was particularly impressive as well, looked composed. 4 boundaries and a 6 in his knock. In the end, the partnership came together with a score on 487. So they built that partnership over 50. Showed plenty of toil. Jackson Coleman ended up wearing one just before the luncheon break in the side of the helmet from Yadav. Set the nets ball for 4 as well, Gav, but apart from that, it's been tough up until this moment here, just seconds ago, where Jasprit Bumrah entered the game and ended the innings for Cricket Australia 11 with a trademark Yorker from this exciting 24-year-old firebrand, which is really good, exciting scenes for India ahead of the game next week, Gav. So the lead, 186 by India. That won't bother them too much, but they'll be very keen to get some overs now into these batters.
Yeah, absolutely. We've still got around 46 overs remaining in the day, and they'll be hoping to get ample of batting practice. One man certainly who will be hoping for that is Murali Vijay, who did bat in the first innings, but now with the injury to Prithvi Shaw, you think he is guaranteed a place in the Indian 11. Looking forward to next week. I'm just having a look at some of the batsmen. Looks like Hanuma Vihari has also got his pads on, so might see him batting at number 3. KL Rahul is out there with Murali Vijay, so there'll be no change in that, and that's as per expected. So Vihari at 3, we might see Rohit Sharma possibly at number 4. Of course, the Indian openers just heading out there. Indian batting coach Sanjay Banga did mention in the play on day 2 that they will shuffle their order around to make sure that everyone gets a sufficient amount of batting practice.
Absolutely, Gavin. There's so many storylines to come yet in this day's play. It might seem that this one's petering out to a draw, as you'd expect when you lose an entire day to rain, but it doesn't matter. There's plenty on the line here for these Indian batters, as you mentioned. Murali Vijay didn't bat in the first innings. Gets his chance now with injury to Prithvi Shaw. We're expecting as well another question that needs to be answered is who's going to bat 6 for India, which is why we might see Hanuma Vihari elevated up the order. He batted 6 in the first inning. And the other man that we believe is in competition for that last spot, Rohit Sharma. So first things first, Cricket Australia will have to get wickets before we can answer that question. Gap. They'll have to do it through a pretty talented opening pairing. Big Jackson Coleman, he's ready. Yep, did well with the bat, and was one of the best for the Cricket Australia 11 in that third. Apply pressure and back up the good work that they've done with the bat on what's been a pretty tough deck for the bowlers.
KL Rahul taking a first ball, just marking out his guard. And, went away. He hasn't been the best of form, and there's just was a bit of pressure mounting on him, especially up. Enjoy that moment. Thought someone who's played around 25 test match could have been a lot more better with his shot selection. The man on the other end of KL Rahul is Murali Vijay. So he's got the arm guard on. No such things for KL Rahul, who's got the long sleeve.
Right, and here we go. Jackson Coleman with the red ball in his hand. On to Rahul.
And a bit of swing. We haven't seen that all. Only a false start. Hajj on that first morning, or the second day, with the first day actually being washed out, but that ball certainly did a swing. So
he's certainly one of the guys in this team who can move the ball, Jackson Coleman, particularly up front. 2 first-class games in his career so far, just the 5 wickets. Again, a little bit of movement, push straight to the man at square leg. Dan Fallon's doing the fielding for the CA11.
Yeah, good test for KL Rahul. He's going to be opening the batting in Adelaide. He's going to have Mitchell Starc bowling left arm. He's going to be swinging it. Maybe certainly a yard or 2 more pace. And interesting, only 2 slips in place, although we might... Yeah, there's only 2 in place. Are you surprised by that, Max?
A little bit surprised. They seem to have 3 to start with last time. Maybe that talks to the conditions out there today. Coleman in again to Rahul, pitched up, didn't quite come back this time to the right-hander.
KL Rahul scored 100 in the 5th test match in England. He played all 5 test matches, didn't have the best of outings, but just when the pressure was mounting, he's got a brilliant 140 odd at the Oval in his final innings of the test series. Looked good in that first innings too. He scored at 49, I believe, before he was in dead rubbers. So he's got to be able to, you know, have his best cricket, especially when the match is online or the series is online, and he'll get that chance next week in Adelaide. He did score a fine century here at the SCG 4 years ago. And he's a nice, elegant batsman, very tall.
Is conversion rate an issue for him, Gav? I can recall back in that Australian tour of India, he posted a multitude of half-centuries.
Absolutely, 5 or 6 half-centuries. It's very close to man of the series in that. I think Cheteshwar Pujara finally got it after his double 100, and he made that batch-saving partnership with Ajinkya Rahane in Bangalore. But, yeah, certainly, I mean, 500s, 1150s. He has scored 1400s at first-class level as well.
So it's a maiden to start here. The SCG, Indian second innings. Jackson Coleman getting off to a good start. So KL Rahul, Murali Vijay, as we mentioned, a new opening partnership rather for India. You know what KL Rahul can do. Murali Vijay will get his first chance now. A lot made of his first time coming out to Australia. He's now 34 years old, Gav, but certainly no stranger out here. 59 tests in his career, average tick under 40, and 12 centuries as well to his name.
Yeah, had a very good series in Australia 4 years ago as well. Scored a 99 in Adelaide before he was trapped in front by Nathan Lyon. He had that mammoth partnership with Virat Kohli, of course, as India chased around 360 on that final day. And it was the wicket of Murali Vijay that they put on over a 200 partnership, but once Murali Vijay was dismissed by Lyon, the wheels came off the Indian batting. So he got 99 and scored a wonderful 144 at the Gabba.
He's on strike now to Summers and drives his first ball confidently straight to the man at point.
And he went on to get another 80 here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. So overall, a very productive series. He was 30 years of age now. He's 34. He was dropped after the first 2 test matches in England. Didn't have the best. He got a pair at Lords. Yeah, people out there wonder if there should be an honours board for that at the Lords.
A dishonours board, perhaps.
Dishonours board, there. Better way to put it.
A couple of slips in place. Summers back of a length and hard into the gloves of Nielsen. Just having a look at his recent form. It was part of that India A tour to New Zealand A. Playing concurrently during the T20 International Series in Australia, and managed a 28 and a 60 over there in that one-off game. So a player who's had a little bit of form coming into this game. Certainly keen to bat for a long period out here this afternoon.
Absolutely. Spent a lot of time out in the middle, and just interesting, like enough, is see that vintage Murali Vijay that's gloriously flipped off his pad, so he'll come back for 2. But yeah, VJ, he missed out, so he was dropped for the 3rd test match over in at Trent Bridge. Shikhar came in for him. Of course, Shikhar not part of the test squad now. And then he was sent back to India. He wasn't even part of the 4th and 5th test matches. And then he got a call to go and play back in county cricket. Played for Essex for a while and scored 4 consecutive half centuries.
Wow. Here's Summers. It's time the bouncer.
Made a few headlines as well, because after he was dropped, basically came back to India and they asked him, a lot of the journalists said about his form, and he said it was disappointing to be dropped because there's no communication. But look, he turned that around, went back to Essex, and he said one of the important things he felt his form came back was because he knew that he had 4 solid games where he was not going to be dropped. There was security.
This one driven. It's an awesome shot, Gab. Gets straight to the man, unfortunately.
So elegant is Murali Vijay. And they played those 4 matches, got some runs. And of course, just leading up before the England tour, also got a half century against, also sorry, a century against Afghanistan. It's only test match in Bangalore. Spent a lot of time during the IPL with Michael Hussey. Of course, Murali Vijay only hails from Chennai, but has played for Super Kings, the IPL champions.
Simon straight to extra cover for no run in. Summers first over with just the 2 runs coming from it. India none for 2.
Just talked about his batting, just to work with a mind like Mike Hussey. See the Indian crowd watching patiently. I think they're just waiting for Kohli, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I think they're not sure if they're going to see him in the 2nd innings, given the selections that are up for grabs here. But
don't dishearten them that way. Sure, well, they're not listening at the ground, but they could be on their cricket app.
It's great to see so many fans in here as well. That lady stand down the bottom looks almost full, and up the top there as well. There's plenty of fans on offer supporting both teams out here. I think they're in here for one of them though, Gav.
Yep, the one and only Kohli. It's funny how Indian fans absolutely worship the cricketers or Bollywood stars. And I remember being out at Pune, and maybe it's the love for one-day cricket or white ball cricket. And just after the first wicket fell, the crowd started cheering Kohli, Kohli, but don't recall Kohli batting too many times at number 3 for India, especially in Test cricket. So it's just a fascination.
Great, isn't it? Yeah. And I just finished watching as well Beyond All Boundaries, which is a Netflix documentary, and for all the cricket fans out there, Ken Strong. Welcome back to day 4 of the tour match between the Cricket Australia 11 and India, coming to you live from the sun-soaked Sydney Cricket Ground. And we are into the 2nd innings of the Indian batting. And the batting card so far, KL Rahul unbeaten on 35 from 60 deliveries with 4 fours and a 6. And his opening partner for this 2nd innings, Murali Vijay, unbeaten on 27 from 54 deliveries with 4 fours to his name. And the bowlers, Jackson Coleman, 5 overs, none for 13. Aaron Summers bowled well, none for 9 from his 4. Luke Robbins from South Australia, none for 21 from 5. And the leg spin of Daniel Fallons, none for 20 from a maiden. All in all, India proceeded to be not out for 63. No wickets lost, rather, in this 1st session. KL Rahul throwing the hands hard at a few outside the off stumps, and Murali Vijay playing beautifully off the back foot, as he loves to do through both sides of the field. Fallons bowled well. Vijay batted better. He's 27, not out. And despite some challenging periods and probing into the footmarks outside the off stump, leg stump rather, Vijay stayed on top. What it means is that India are none for 63 in their 2nd innings, still trailing the CA11 by 123 overall, as we enter the final session of play here at the SCG in this tour match. My name's Max Bryden. And I'm pleased to be joined in commentary by Gav Joshi for this next half an hour.
Yes, good afternoon to all the listeners out there. Final session of this test match, and great to be alongside you, Max. For the Indian fans who are sitting patiently, they had the sun on them most of the morning, but now it's nice and cool out there in the one of the ladies' stand. And speaking of cool, KL Rahul is out in the middle just putting on his helmet. Murali Vijay is there as well. Let's see what these two can, how long they can bat. Still 27 overs to go, so that serves me right. 162 odd balls, so maybe, just maybe, given how KL Rahul has played a few outside the off stump, he might even find himself close to a ton, but he's still got to bat in the appropriate manner, play out the good balls, and then attack when he wants to.
And it's been an interesting day's play. Yesterday was all about the CA11 chasing down that Indian total of 358 that they got for the first innings. They did that and surpassed it this morning. You'll see Luke Robbins in, Vijay leaving it alone outside the off stump, and seems like since the start of day 2, Gav, we've only seen the 10 wickets fall. So the CA11 started play today 6 down, 356, trailing India by just 2 runs overall. And the partnership between Aaron Hardy and Harry Nielsen continued and took them past that total. We see Robbins in again, wide, and Vijay's flashing. Lucky he didn't get anything on that. And apart from that, there was a very frustrating 10th wicket partnership which extended past 50, took the CA11 past 500. He finished it all out for 554. And that was just early. That was the 3rd over into the 2nd session. Since then, this pair have batted on unfazed.
Vijay defending solidly, so yep, Murali Vijay is very compact and made his test debut nearly 10 years ago against Australia in Nagpur.
It's been impressive so far today, hasn't he, Gav?
Yeah, he has. He's got so much elegance about him, especially just when he leans on the ball and just playing through the leg side. I don't think he's going to get much on the leg side at the moment because they're operating to a 7-2 field, 7-2 offside field. And he's just trying to thread the needle there on the offside. It's an interesting field, but yeah, Murali Vijay is so strong with his pads that just almost become accustomed to that with the Indian batters, especially even bowling on the line of off stump, and they can flick you away.
He looks so good off the back foot, didn't he, Gav? He played a couple of nice shots through mid-wicket against the leg spinner, a couple from the quicks through extra cover, and that one alone outside the off stump.
Just thinking about the shot there, and this is where it gets tough, I guess, in the manner that, you look at the scoreboard, what is there to achieve in this innings? Yes, from a personal point of view, there is a lot for these two, but just to test yourself, not to give your wicket away, still play a few shots and find out what shot you can play in Australia. Murali Vijay is not really much of a puller of the ball, so when they do get bowl a bit short, he has to find a way to score, because you can't just get bogged down, and that's when you can lose your patience.
Speaking of scoring, it's a maiden first over here in the final session from Robbins. Some good bowling from 24-year-old South Australian. And looks like we might see Dan Fallons continue his probing spell from the Paddington end here. The beautiful SCG. Geez, what a cracking first day of summer. Gav, I tell you what, if this is what it's going to be like for the next 3 months, then sign me up.
I forgot, it's the first day of the summer, so yep, 37 degrees forecast around Sydney tomorrow, at least in the west, maybe 33 odd.
Tell you what, everyone from the west needs to get themselves to the east, get themselves to a beach.
Yes.
Tour match is going to be done. You'll be streaming the WBBLs through the cricket.com.au app if you've got a KO account.
What's your favourite beach in Sydney?
Oh, I'm a big Balmoral boy.
Balmoral boy, okay.
That's for sure.
Northern beaches.
As Fallons comes into Rahul.
I love Coogee Beach.
Yeah.
Just down the road from here, from the SCG, just going out there. It's
quite popular with the cricketers, the general Coogee area.
Yeah, absolutely. Footballers, cricketers, just went out to Coogee Pav, the Pav, yeah, just for a lunch, while watching Steve Smith and David Warner play at Coogee Oval the other day, so that was good.
That's very good gear, Gav. Very good areas from you.
Similar sort of weather they had. To see Shane Watson really teeing off. I think it's Dolphin Street down there, I believe, and a few other cars there. Not sure if there were any broken windows or any insurance claims following that Monday morning, because, yeah, Shane Watson definitely peppered a few sixes out there.
Well, he's not a very conspicuous figure, Shane Watson, if he's trying to leave the scene of the damage of the crime, if you will, with a few sixes into the cars.
Look forward to seeing him
as this is a great shot back down the ground from VJ. One bounce and four. Good use of the feet. And gave that plenty of air as well.
Yeah, good player of spin is Murali VJ. He's one of these guys, and it just there's difference in Indian batsmen now coming up. I mean, just look at the replay.
It's almost a wrong and attempt thing from Fallons, but
down to the pitch of it doesn't really matter which way it spins, does it? It's the secret of playing against spin.
Uses the feet again, goes aerial once more. Lucky he didn't get all of that. In fact, they're not even going to get a single. Landed just in front of the man on the boundary down there.
I wonder if Murali Vijay knew there was a man out there, because he was almost hiding in the shadows of the light towers.
Well, it was a rankful toss from Fallons. Almost picked up a wicket.
That happens with leg spin bowlers. Amazing how many full tosses and short balls. We saw one from Virat Kohli.
Oh, this time he's on the back foot. Can't beat mid off. Once again, no run. He's just hitting them too quick at the moment. And it's the end of an over. Pretty eventful from Fallons. And 2 overs gone now. India none for 68.
Yeah, all these players such as Murali Vijay, who almost, I call them pre-IPL players, because they sort of made their first class debut while they were growing up as 16, 17-year-olds. There was no IPL around. They're conventional players of sort of spin bowling, although Murali Vijay does or has brought the spin, and see him use really good footwork to get to the pitch of the ball, and that was the play. That was the way to play spin bowling. Either go deep in your crease, or sort of get to the pitch of the ball, and then don't really have to sweep shots. And so there's a young kid there, 18 on his back.
Sachin.
Virat Kohli's number.
Oh,
1-8. Yeah.
Sachin number 10.
Sachin was number 10. Yeah, Tendulkar.
There you go. All right. So here's Robbins again. Started with a maiden. This one will be a single out to the sweeper and point boundary. Just interesting, you'll note that man out on the point boundary has found himself a nice spot in the shade to field.
Yeah, I was over in the UAE last month to cover the Australian Test Series against Pakistan, and in Abu Dhabi there's only really one huge stand and can get very hot, but there is this sort of square, and those light towers in Abu Dhabi are as broad as what we have at the SCGs. They're a lot more skinnier, and the shadow must be only about, say, a metre by metre. And the fine leg fieldsmen, especially around that sort of 3:30 in the afternoon, when the temperature's around 40, 42 degrees, had a long day, and you always find the fine leg fieldsman just hiding himself in that shadow.
It's good smart cricket, Gav.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Like a lot of club cricket, I'm sure a lot of the club cricket going on, grade cricket going on in Sydney, and lots of shadows, lots of trees around some of the ovals around. We spoke about Coogee Oval. Which other famous grounds are there? There's Hurstville Oval, of course.
Hurstville Oval played first-class cricket there last year. New South Wales against Western Australia. A lot of Matador Cup there. Drummoyne Oval, another beautiful grounds.
Bankstown Oval.
Bankstown Oval.
Tell you what,
Blacktown Oval. Glen McGrath Oval. Allan Border Oval.
Yep.
Allan Border Field and Allan Border Oval.
Yeah.
Different states, those two. There's Robbins. This one's clipped onto the onside. Mid-on, it's got a little bit of work to cut that one off. Aaron Hardy, haven't seen him bowl yet today.
He grew up in New South Wales and then shifted across to Queensland, did the grade AB.
Sure
Played
did.
a lot of baseball as a child, and of course, the Alan Border Oval named after him. That's up in near Hornsby.
Mossman.
Mossman, okay, sorry. There you go.
So here's Robbins on attempted guide from Rahul. Down a third man. There's 3 men there. Not sure if they're there exactly for that shot, but they did the job to stop at that time.
There's also Kings Park, isn't it? Kings Oval up in the
Old Kings Oval,
Old
Parramatta.
Yeah.
Next to the school there.
There's plenty of shade there. Out there a couple of times. There's Don Dawson Oval in Fairfield. Looking for Fairfield play a little bit on that.
Oh, he's chased a wide one there, Rahul. Certainly looks keen to get on with it now. So another over comes to an end from Robbins. It would have almost been called if he'd left it alone. 2 runs coming from it. 22 gone. Indian up to 70.
Rahul. Talking before, hails from Mangalore, not Bangalore. There's plenty of tattoos on his back and on his forearm. Saying absolutely adored David Beckham growing up, idolised him, and wanted to be almost sort of had that fashion sense about him, and used to do a lot of things to his hair as well, colour it. Actually scored a T20 100, and there might be highlights on it on YouTube somewhere. That because he was in the West Indies, he actually decided to get them breaded. So had a bit of a man bun going at times. He coloured his hair at different times, and a good story about his tattoos as well. When he sort of 16 years of age, and he was going through. Just trying to sweep there, but his mother, of course, being a history professor, dad a dean, so he said it was really strange for me. I was always trying to be naughty, but I couldn't be because they were. And so I went to play some under-15 cricket or under-16 cricket to Bangalore from his original town, and his friend sort of growing up, he wanted tattoos like David Beckham, so decided to get a massive tattoo on his back, and came home and showed his mum, and his mum didn't really speak to him for about 15 minutes. And what she did do was she's like, well, it's about time. It's pushed out a single, but what his mum did do, she poured out a piece of soap and said, okay, it's about time you have a shower and get that stuff off your back. And she didn't realise it was permanent, of course, and it's been 24 hours, so then he says his mum didn't talk to him for about, say, maybe a week or two. So, he's on Instagram. If you've got social media, follow him. You can bring it up. He's got a dog called Simba.
Well, I heard a great story the BCCI put out on their social accounts just prior to this. Gorskal Rahul got his test debut in Australia 4 years ago on the tour. As he's on strike to the final ball of this Fallon's over. Back and cutting just for a single out to the sweeper, and debuted at the MCG. And everyone knows about the Boxing Day crowds and how raucous they can be, and he said they mocked him.
Yeah.
He said he went up to the fence and they said, "What's your name, mate?" And they didn't know him. He was on debut, and he told them, and then they proceeded to call out his name, and in a not so popular manner. And I was thinking about that tale that he told in relation to Prithvi Shaw, and
rhymes with something like an oil tanker,
or someone who works as a banker.
Yeah.
And but I was the way that Prithvi Shaw's career's now taken this short trajectory. Here, Gav, with his injuries picked up, he might be a chance to make a debut at Melbourne, and I wonder if he'd be subject to the same treatment.
Not sure if you're into dogs, but what kind of dog breed would that be? Just showing you a picture of.
Ooh, I'm not sure. We're going to need to get an expert on here on that. It's all I can tell is it's fluffy, very, very fluffy.
The Chow Chow breed. Have you heard of that?
No, I have not.
No, I'm not a dog person either, but so his name's Simba, so it's quite famous.
Oh, as that one's harpishly flayed from Rahul through the gully for 4.
And the dog actually has its own Instagram account and has nearly as many followers as Rahul does.
Wonder if it can play a back foot drive like that. Tell you what, there's 3 people backward to square, Gab, on the offside. 2 gullies. It looks like almost 2 people in kind of a 4th and 5th slip region, and then a gully. 3 gullies went right between a lot of them. So Robbins in, full, at the pads, pushed him.
Kwan, which means puffy lion dog. There you go. So that's what. So yeah, if you might see KL Rahul get a ton here or prosper during the Test series. Maybe look at his Instagram account.
Steps across, trying to open up that onside. And it's good to see him not just settling for what the bowlers are dishing up here. An interesting field. They're obviously trying to make him play on that offside. He did look uncomfortable early in his innings against the left-handed Jackson Coleman outside the off stump. And he had plenty of balls in the air through the point, backward of point area. So obviously, I think they've seen here something, the CA11 bowlers. And this time, once more, just well stopped in the end by Sam Whiteman down there.
It's an interesting field, isn't it? Because you've got a keeper, then you've got sort of almost Sam Whiteman who fielded that ball maybe around sort of 4th slip. And sticking to this line outside the off stump. We mentioned the 7-2 field, and it's probably why KL Rahul was sort of trying to shuffle across his stumps and whip one through leg side where there's no fielders. As you see, change of attack, it's going to be bowling around the wicket. Don't mind this from the CA11. They're trying to find a way to get a wicket, especially on this sort of Australian track, which is slightly benign. Maybe India could have, you know, looking back, could have tried various different tactics. We didn't really see a lot of them bowling around the wicket and into the ribs, and maybe they're just sort of conserving their energy for the Test match.
This time he takes a single as it's flicked to mid-on. That'll end the over as well. So 5 runs coming from it. 24 gone now. This partnership at 77 between the 2 openers, which we can expect to be the openers in the first Test in Adelaide. What date that kick-off, Dave?
Starts on Thursday.
Starts on Thursday, okay.
Yes.
So
India fly down to Adelaide tomorrow. I believe the Australian team might be there tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. I think tonight, because I believe some of them will be speaking to the media tomorrow, maybe a practice session. So that's going to happen. And then, of course, I'm sure India, they've been kept in the field for about 130 odd overs or even more. Might be a bit of a rest time for them. Tomorrow's travel day, but even Monday, and then really get into things on Tuesday and Wednesday. Maybe just an optional practice as it is before a Test match. And the bowlers who aren't really going to play never have more than sort of 24 balls or 30 balls in the nets. And Murali Vijay, who's at the non-strikers end at the moment, he's got this habit that if he's playing whenever he's playing in the Test match, he doesn't really like to bat the day before. It's all part of his preparation.
Fallon's into Rahul. Been very impressed with Fallon so far in this game. I've followed his first-class career today. He's had a few issues just in terms of his consistency, and it's all with all young leg spinners can be rocks and diamonds at times, but he's bowled with really good consistency in this match.
Just looking at the Indian dugout. So if the wicket was to fall, looks like Hanuma Vihari's padded up. So he'll probably be coming in at number 3, and I think Rohit Sharma's also got his pads on at number 4. So if a wicket does fall, or maybe they up, maybe both of these getting to a 50, or maybe once KL Rahul gets to a 50, and he's helped himself to 47 with that sweep shot.
And he didn't get all of it to Rahul, but plenty of vacant space now in that square leg region. And fell safely and went to the fence. So I'm not sure if he'll quite call it a return to form, Gav, but after missing out in the first inning, it's nice to see him scoring a few.
Yeah, he's been good. I still think there's areas he can improve on. I think he's just got to tighten up a little bit. still looks for that shot, and sure.
Back pulling, and that'll be the 50 for KL Rahul. One bounce for, and this crowd give this Indian opener a warm applause for his efforts. Shows you how new that opening partnership. Gaz still working on the handshake.
Yeah, exactly. Together on sort of 25 innings for India. Only had 100 partnership. Just basically gone with 3 openers for sort of the last 3 or 4 years. We've had KL Rahul and Murali Vijay to get the single. They almost stood mid-pitch, almost looking at each other for a while, but is the replay?
And this was the shot that brought up the 50. Bit of a long hop from Fallons. Rahul taking full toll. It's a good shot as well. It's not easy. Certainly had to reach for it in the end. Noted a lot of revs on the ball from young Daniel Fallons.
Yeah, you can just see that's why it's called Test cricket or 4-day cricket. We saw Dan Fallons really bowl well in the first innings when he was sort of fresh, and here he's had to spend some time, you know, at the crease. Then before that, a few on day 2, and also have a few overs. So it becomes a bit of a challenge. Having to come back and bowl again and again, as I think we're going to see Aaron Summers coming back on from the far end. But that's the big test, and that's why it's called Test cricket, because you need to come back the day after. And sometimes when you play golf and go out and shoot a good 75 and you feel really satisfied, but you know, when you come back the next day you're up to 90 again. Well, certainly that's how I play my golf. I'm not sure about you, Max, but that's why we differentiate between those professionals and the amateurs out there.
So young Aaron Summers back for his second spell in the second innings. None for 9 so far from his first 4 overs, and was impressive early on. And some interesting tactics given to him by his captain. He was bowling around the wicket, bowling a lot of short stuff with a heavy offside field, particularly at Murali Vijay. Didn't get himself a wicket, but wasn't leaking any runs. So, ball's a little bit older now. Not that he relies too much on swing, but it's a good test for him now. He's got 2 men out on the hook on the onside, a slip in place, a gully, point on the fence as well. So here's Summers. Rahul's just pushing that one to the man at cover for no run.
Okay, Rahul. Interesting about his name as well. We were talking about names yesterday. So he's asked how he actually got his name, and so his father...
From his parents? Is that not how it works, Gav?
Yeah, well, I was talking about it yesterday, of course. So you get your... Traditionally in South India, you get your surname tends to be your father's first name. While it's somewhere in sort of Western India, your father's name becomes your middle name. Sometimes your name from the village you originate from, or your family had, you know, past sort of history from, or your name sort of also comes from, you know, what the family used to do as an occupation. So something like myself, coming back from an Indian background, like the Joshis were traditionally the priests.